Paul Mason and Yanis Varoufakis joins us now live from Athens. Well, in the last hour, Mr. Varoufakis, the German finance minister said he thinks your country could very soon default. Is he wrong?
John, you will permit me not to comment on what my very good colleague from Germany has said. The whole point about these negotiations is to avert moves and developments which will be detrimental to every side on the European continent, including those like Britain who are not part of the Eurozone. So we are working very hard to avert a negative outcome, to converge upon common ground, and there's plenty of common ground. It's a very rich common ground, very fertile common ground, on which we can grow and create something that is mutually beneficial.
But I mean, you can leave Germany to one side for a second because, of course, the IMF have to be paid on the 5th of June, and that's 300 million or so euros. And even after that, you've got a summer in which you've got to pay back billions.
Yes, but all this is besides the point. The point is to come to an agreement that allows Greece to start recovering, properly recovering for the first time since 2008, to develop, to grow, to produce the income that can sustain this society and at the same time help us repay our debts. Everything else is noise. It's a bit like, John, if I were to take an elastic band, wrap it around your arm, pull it sufficiently for you to start losing your blood circulation in your arm and then saying, oh my God, you are facing a gangrene threat.
Yanis Varoufakis, you could be said to have emitted a fair amount of noise yourself just now because you haven't really taken us any clearer to a point at which it's possible to believe that Greece can survive within the Eurozone over the next 2 weeks.
Of course we can survive, and we will survive. All we need is good faith on both sides so that we can strike a deal. And it's not just for the next 2 weeks, but for the next 2 years, 2 decades, 2 centuries.
But the brutal...
you accused me, or you insinuated.
The brutal truth is the other side has the money, you need the money, and in the end, well, you'll have to do what they ask.
Well, what we need is a good deal. What we need is to end the 5-year cycle of debt deflation, and the recession which is crippling the capacity of this nation to function and to repay its debts. And let me be very clear on this. I have made absolutely no inflammatory comment in your program or any other program or any other venue. What I said is this. We are out of the markets. Greece doesn't have a capacity to borrow from the money markets, from private investors. Nevertheless, we are perfectly capable of having a state that pays for its own salaries, for its own pensions, that lives within its means. What we can't do is to keep repaying our creditors when the disbursements from the creditors to us have ceased for more than 8 months now. And those who have seized those payments know that that is the case. Thus, the metaphor, the allegory that I used, which is not inflammatory at all, it's just helpful in informing our audience, our viewers, of the situation as we live through it.
Well, let's just look a little bit further beyond, because are you threatening an exit vote, a referendum on staying or going?
Oh, well, that's an easy question. The answer is no. We're not threatening with anything. We want to stay within the Eurozone. We're determined to strike a deal. For months now, especially the last few weeks, we've been negotiating day and night. We've been extremely flexible. We've been compromising left, right, and center without having any intention of being compromised at the end of the day in order to strike a deal to stay within the euro and not to default to any of our creditors.
OK, but you see, you've said to us you cannot borrow because the markets, you can't play the markets anymore.
Yes.
Therefore, surely I have to ask you, can you pay? If you can't borrow, you can't pay.
Well, it is by definition true that a country which is in a loan agreement like we are, the best it can achieve, and we have achieved that through brutal fiscal consolidation and a great deal of sacrifice by the Greek people, what we have achieved is a capacity for our state to live within its means. And John, let me tell you that since I've been finance minister the last 4 months,
Probably feels like that, but I must push you.
Yes,
I must push you.
Right.
Can you pay?
No, well,
can
you don't need to, because I'm telling you.
Yes or no? A yes or no question.
All right. Well,
5th of June.
For the last 4 months, we repaid 6.5 billion out of the fibre of the Greek state to our creditors. We will try to continue doing this. At some point, we will have to face a dilemma between paying for pensions and paying for creditors. And of course, you know that any responsible government, be it the Greek government, the British government, or any other government, what choice it would make under those circumstances. I don't need to spell it out for you.
I think I see the answer there. Yes, on the 5th of June. You don't seem to be saying no.
Well, I'll put it very succinctly. If we can, on the 5th of June, repay the IMF and pay pensions and salaries, as well as the other obligations that we have to our internal creditors, we shall. If not, we will have to prioritize pensioners and public sector workers.
Yanis Varoufakis, thank you very much indeed for coming out to talk to us. It's good to talk to you. Thank you.